Hey everybody, MarcusCWilliams here, and look at this glorious reconstruction that's going on. All of these buildings here are being redeveloped right here in downtown Rochester. Many of them former office buildings that will now be turned into high-cost luxury housing. So I think that that's really kind of cool, and there'll also, of course, be spots for you to put businesses in and stuff like that. But you'll also see buildings like this that are being largely redesigned into both business and housing areas. Because, nowadays we're in the future. We don't have so many businesses in downtown Rochester, and a lot of office work, honestly, has just completely gone away from upstate New York and other places and been automated, right? Because, we're the Rust Belt. That's what they call us, right? But there's a lot of redevelopment that's happening. And you can see all of these floors here are being redeveloped. And a lot of construction that's happening across the city. And it's really, really something nice and interesting to watch happen. My question here is, how do we, if we've lived in Rochester for some time, or if we live in Rochester and own our own homes, how do we maximize the benefit from the new construction, the new progression of the direction of our city? We've got these office buildings over here. We got the one across the street. All of them are largely empty, largely vacant. If you look behind me, we've got all of these office buildings back here, also largely empty, largely vacant. So how do we move forward as a city? Well, interestingly enough, they've got this big 2035 plan to redevelop the whole city, 2030, 2035, depending on which projects and which works you're talking about. And a lot of them are really, really about doing more developments like this. If you can see behind me right there. See all of that? High cost housing, right? So as more and more high cost housing is built, and they invite more and more people from other places into the city of Rochester that are considerably of higher socioeconomic status than the majority of Rochesterians, the prices and the costs of not only goods and services, but also of property will go up. And when the prices of property, and I know many of you that are from Rochester have seen this happen in your neighborhoods and communities already, as those prices go up, taxes go up. And not only taxes, right? You also see increases in rent. And you see different people that own different properties, especially these big companies, jacking up the rent or not taking care of properties so that they can get people to move out because they want to put people with more money in there. This is a large thing that some of the more, progressives, they call themselves, even though they're not really so progressive when you think about it. But by definition of the word, by what an actual progressive is, not this newfangled meaning that they have now. But that's neither here nor there. But they're pushing for things like, no evictions. They're pushing for things like rent control. They're pushing for all of these things, including good cause eviction. But the one thing that's not being pushed for is home ownership. Home ownership is so important. Not only does it increase the quality of life in the community, it also gives people a sense of ownership in their community. It gives people a real, as you would say, stickiness, a real reason to stay in their homes, a real reason to stay in the communities, a real reason to stay here. And we all know, if you lived in Rochester, or if you've lived in Rochester in the past, or even largely Monroe County, we've lost a lot of people over the last few decades. And with the new development that's not so much focused on the people that are here in Rochester, but more so focused on bringing people from outside of Rochester into Rochester. What's happening is the people in Rochester that live here are being forgotten. And there's one very great example of that. I'll give you an example. You see, as you see, you got some cars going on right there, right? See the cars? So anyway, you can see the cars going on right there. This bridge right here, okay, right by the Blue Cross Arena, this bridge, they're about to take the bridge and they're trying to turn it into I don't even know what you call it, right? Like, it's not really a park or whatever, but they're trying to take up the whole bridge so you can't drive a car on it. Now, whose brainchild is that? Is that what the community wants? Who is actually pushing this? Nobody that lives in Rochester that drives a car is going to tell you, oh yeah, let's tear up this street. Why? Because it's one of the major throughways in the city. Not actual throughways, but you know, you move through it. Way. You get what I'm saying. Nobody would tell you that. Look at all the traffic. And we're talking about, it's late in the evening right now. So, and I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to go down West Main Street or to East Main Street or anywhere straight down through Main Street at all, it's heavily trafficked all the time. And what they're doing is they're planning for a future where it is not so much the people that are here right now, but the people that they're trying to bring here, it's comfortable for them, not for us. And I personally believe the people that live here in Rochester, the people that live here in Monroe County that are from Rochester, okay, I believe that the focus of our local elected officials should be on us, we the people, right? Not the people from other places to bring them here. First priority should be keeping the people here, or let me rephrase that, and giving the people that live here a real reason to stay here, making rents affordable, making property purchases affordable for the people that live here, not trying to encourage people from outside to come in. You know, I've lived here pretty much all my life, and I've seen stuff continually go backwards and stuff like that because the focus has never really been put on the people that are from Rochester, that live in Rochester. We've always got these great ideas about how to bring more businesses to Rochester instead of focusing on growing businesses in Rochester of Rochester. You know, that's a very, very core important thing that we can do to increase the staying power and the stickiness of people that live here. And not only that, right? When you live and you own where you live and you build businesses where you live, you're more likely to employ people from where you live, and you're more likely to grow the economy in the neighborhoods and in the community in which you live. Now, behind me, right here, you can see all these buildings over here where Midtown used to be, right? They tore down Midtown. Did we want Midtown tore down? We didn't want Midtown tore down, you know, but did they consult us like that? No, they said, here, this is what's happening. This is what's going to be done. We didn't want that to happen. I don't even know how they honestly got away with that, because that was the first indoor mall in the history of America. True fact. You can look that up. So it's a historical landmark. I don't know how they got it to tear that down. That's crazy. Also, they got rid of the Skyway downtown, which was so awesome. I don't know if you guys remember the Skyway, where you could just walk through the inside of stuff to other buildings, but that was also when we had more businesses downtown and stuff like that. But that's because they've all left and everything's been changed around because the focus on the community is gone. The focus on Rochesterians is gone. The focus on the people has shifted from the people that live here to the people that they want to bring here. And for me, that's not okay. I believe the local politicians should prioritize Rochester natives and people that have been living here for their whole life. Not these new transplant people, no offense to you, the people that have been here just a couple years, or the people that they're trying to coax into moving here. They should focus on the community, on the people that live here, on the people that are from here, and their wants, their needs, and stuff like that when they consider building all of these things downtown that cost way more than anybody that really lives in Rochester could afford. When they put all these restaurants down here that are really way more way less cost effective than most people in the city that live in Rochester can't afford. This stuff is not for us. It's for people, the wealthy, the affluent, that they're trying to bring here. And that's not a big issue, but the issue is that in doing that, they've completely overlooked Rochester natives and Rochesterians who have lived here for decades. And that, for me, is not okay. I don't know about you and what your personal thoughts are. I believe that the local government and the local state elected officials should prioritize Rochesterians if they so allegedly are supposed to serve us, especially city council and the people that are developing the city, and especially our local state and Senate representatives. You be blessed, you be well, and I'll catch you later.